Hi, my name is Singh. I'm broadcasting from New Jersey on behalf of Stanford Online High School students from across the globe. So, hello world. With us here today is Mr. David Pann. He's the GM for search advertising for Bing. It's such a pleasure having you here on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored that you would want me to participate in your program, and I've looked at some of your videos, and you're an amazing young man, and parents should be very proud of what you're doing.
Thanks so much. So let's just get started. I was reading. It's impressive that Bing has over a 20% market share, and it's growing. And it seems like now that it's integrated into Cortana, and then it's also used in Alexa. Users clearly think it's a viable alternative to Google. Like, what do you attribute this growth to? What makes it such a great search engine that people are embracing so much nowadays?
So it's a great question, and I think it's a bunch of things. One is it's really hard work of a great team here at Microsoft, both in the Bing team and the Bing Ads team. Over the last 6-7 years, have really focused on building a high quality product for consumers. And one of the key things we did was listening to consumers and understanding what they wanted. In addition to that, we listened to advertisers, because one of the big elements of a search engine is connecting consumers to marketers. And so by just listening, we've really created a differentiated product, a unique product in the marketplace where consumers can feel that it's different than alternatives. And the unique audiences that we bring to advertisers is what's drawing them to really want to participate and provide a great consumer experience.
And certainly it's been working. The results are there. I think the latest numbers are that it's generated $5.3 billion in revenue for Microsoft. It's almost the same as Twitter and Instagram combined. So are there any long-term goals for Bing, or is it just to provide a search engine, or are there bigger hopes, such as it would play a bigger role in users' lives, and would fill a void that's currently there, or anything like that?
Yeah, having been here for 6 years, we back in the days when we were not a profitable business, and seeing that transformation, what we've started to see, is that Bing is now being integrated into everything that is really about Microsoft. So Cortana is really an incarnation of Bing in the knowledge graph. You're seeing us integrate Bing into Windows, the operating system itself. They're seeing us integrate Bing capabilities into Office. And so you're starting to see that search is not just about a search box anymore. It's really, we want to provide the knowledge and the information that Bing knows about the internet, knows about people, at access points and entry points that are very different than just entering some keywords. And so what you'll start to see, even with our conversation as a platform, and being able to allow bots, and those bots tapping into the Bing services in these conversations, you'll start to see things even on HoloLens, the capabilities of Bing. So it's really, for us here in Bing, it is a pivotal moment in time, because we proved first and foremost that we are a viable, long-term, profitable business for Microsoft. And now we're taking all of that knowledge and all of those assets and integrating it not only to our own services, and we're making that integration available to third parties. And so that's really exciting, and that's where you'll start to see innovation coming out that we haven't seen in years past.
Certainly, and like I said before, Bing is like the default way to search on Apple Siri, Amazon's Alexa, and even on AOL. It's certainly becoming more prominent in the users' daily lives. So it seems like you've done a great job, pushing Bing forward. But how did it start? How was your high school experience like? Did you have any particular teachers that loved, or any courses that you experienced that ignited a passion for what you do today, or anything like that?
Yeah, I grew up in a town called Medford, Massachusetts, which is just north of Boston. And back in the day, it was a very blue-collar town. But I got very excited about math in high school. My math teachers were, really, they pushed me, and in particular, and that's where I got part of the math club. But in particular, there was a teacher named Steve Toltz, who not only was a teacher He was my youth advisor at my my Temple Youth program. He was a camp counselor for the camp that I went to. He was probably instrumental in really kind of helping me form my appreciation for a lot of things, not just math, but just society. And it was a great experience.
Certainly, and it's the people who you experience with and deal with young that impact and shape who you are today.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd say is the great thing about high school for me was that's where I got to meet a girl who eventually became my wife, and we've been together since I was a senior in high school. So that's probably the biggest bonus I got when I was in high school.
Interesting. So looking back, is there anything you wish you could have done different in your high school experience? Because the teens of today, if you could offer them advice, whether not waste their time on anything, or do you have any advice for the current generation to best so they can best pursue their passions when they grow up?
Yeah,
experience.
Yeah, my experience, I would say that diversity and inclusion really matters. When growing up in a town that was, diverse but not inclusive was an interesting experience. And what I would really, tell kids today is embrace that. Embrace the diversity that exists in your community, in the world. All opinions, all voices, all races, all genders, all approaches really matter. And that diversity can make us all just better human beings. And so don't run away from differences. Run to differences. Have the conversations. Understand people's approaches. I think that's where I would tell I tell my children today about that, and I would recommend that for kids everywhere to do.
Certainly, and that's been like a trend lately, especially in Silicon Valley, who's been promoting diversity. Apple says inclusion inspires innovation, and Jonathan Mildenhall, the CM of Airbnb, he was on our show earlier. He also mentioned that when he was young, he used to hang out in the classroom with the people sitting at the front of the class, but outside the class, he would hang out with the sports kids and everything. And that's what shaped him today. So you could see this trend with you and everyone else that the more experiences and the more people you meet, the better it is that later on you'll pull back on those experiences.
Yeah, it is something I think it was a core tenet that my parents really pushed on me because of they had diverse friends, and it's something I believe in, and I see the benefits of diversity in work every single day.
Yeah, certainly. So moving on to the fun portion of our interview, if you could select any one person from history and you just have a conversation with them, or someone from living today, anyone famous, who would it be? Do you have anyone in mind?
Well, on a person, I thought about this question, and I was thinking, boy, do I pick a famous politician or a scientist? And then I really thought, unfortunately, I never got to meet my grandparents, my grandfathers. They passed away before either, when my father was young, or my mother was married, so I never got to meet them. So if I could go back in time, I would like to meet my grandfathers. I'd love to get to know them and understand what made them tick, because they had such a big influence on my parents, which in turn had an influence on me. So those are probably the two most important people I'd like to go meet.
Certainly makes a lot of sense. So, taking a different aspect on the question, is there any historical event you wish you could have went back in history and experienced that, or if you were, played a role or just, had just an opportunity to see it?
Sure. For me, I think, I was a child during the civil rights in the 60s. So I was, born in, the early 60s. So I didn't get to experience it firsthand. I would love to have been a participant in the civil rights movement. I would have loved to have been able and to be, have met Martin Luther King, marched in in the rallies, helped to create, broker the divide. To me, that would have been an amazing experience, because I think we need to continue to do it today. And so just having that kind of experience would be something that would really be, continue to light a passion inside of me.
Yeah, and that ties back to the diversity thing. The more opinions you have included in society, the better off it is. So we'll move on to a segment. If you could answer in a couple words or anything short. So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an attorney.
Interesting. Why did you pursue the technologies field? Did you?
It's funny. I got very active into math. I loved math in high school, and then I was going to think about being an actuary because I just loved calculus. And then I got into college and I took some computer science program classes, fell in love with that, and decided to do a double major in computer science and business, and never looked back. Yeah.
Certainly. So what's the most interesting thing in your office?
The most interesting thing in my office? Let's see. Probably a pirate's hat that my team gave me back at an all hands several years ago. I forget the reason why, but you can probably see it in the corner up there. Yeah. There's a pirate's hat that they had me wear.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think it might be from the Pirates of the Caribbean. So, but they definitely had me wearing it at an all hands one time.
Okay, so what's the best professional advice you've been given?
Best professional advice I've been given.
Just maybe the way to work, or how to best run meetings, anything, or any advice in general, maybe.
Yeah, I think the best professional advice is you have to love what you do. You have to be passionate about it, and motivated. And so there's thousands of things you could do with your day and with your job and jobs out there. But if you don't love what you do, it really doesn't matter, because when you love it, it's not a job. Yeah. It's just something you want to do. And so that was the best advice I ever got from somebody.
Yeah, and that's I was watching a video earlier, and it was of Twitter, and they said love where you work. So it's certainly lots of people embrace that type of mantra. So, coffee, tea, or smoothies?
Coffee and tea is my it's coffee to wake me up. It's tea to keep me warm.
Okay, pancakes or waffles?
Oh, pancakes. Chocolate chip pancakes is my big thing on a Sunday morning for the family.
Okay. Would you rather have one wish granted today or 3 in 10 years?
Probably I'd take one wish today.
Okay. You live life to your fullest. And our last question, would you rather be able to stop time or fly?
Stop time or fly? I'd rather fly.
Yeah, so would I. That's what I was going to think. And so this is the end of the interview. We'd like to thank Mr. Pann for graciously sparing his time here at Pixel Talk, and hopefully inspiring not only the Stanford OHS community, but youth around the country and perhaps even around the world. So thank you so much for being here. We sincerely appreciate it.
I appreciate the time, and it's been a lot of fun. Thanks.